Yeah, there go those sirens, y'all. How y'all doing? How y'all doing out there? GameFi podcast, everything gaming, arts, music, esports, and film. I'm your boy, Coach E. Chilling in the studios, the LivehiphopDaily studios. We live as per usual in this season number 3. LivehiphopDaily.tv, LivehiphopDaily.tv. Check us out. In March, Women's History Month. We also get into Asset Management Awareness Month. Did you know, Jay Black, it's also Asset Management Awareness Month?
I want to know who's designated to assign these months. I think next month I want to be my month.
hey, well, you know, there's a site. We're gonna talk about that next episode. There's a place where you go if you feel like you also want some type of month for you to have. If you want to call out, what y'all do, and you want to do, get your awareness a day or anything like that. There's a website so come with us next Sunday, and we'll talk a little bit more about that as well.
Speaking on that, I saw something today because today is the daylight savings.
Oh man, I lost an hour.
It was basically
I lost an hour.
You lost an hour? I don't really.
Because you jump ahead. That's an extra hour of sleep you don't get.
You didn't get it. You gained it a long time ago, so it's
you just getting it back, right?
But it said in 1895, British-born New Zealand entomologist George Hudson proposed changing clocks by 2 hours so that he could
2 hours?
So that he could have more hours in the afternoon to collect insects. He presented his idea in a paper to the Wellington Philosophical Society, and his suggestion was initially met with skepticism from his peers. It would eventually become modern day DST.
Oh man,
I don't know how true that is, but
I'll put it this way. I do know that, because when I lived out in California and things like that, and I work in construction. So, daylight hours, daylight, being able to see is very, very important when you outside doing work outside. Mm-hmm. So, it would make sense as an entomologist, if you out there, trying to get insects or whatever, you need as much light as you possibly can to finish your work and complete your work. But, farm workers, construction, like I said, anybody that's doing any type of outside work, they're going to want as much daylight as they possibly can. Mm-hmm. So, it makes sense. But again, all of this moving back and forth is about getting more money at the end of the day. So, yeah. So if y'all didn't know, y'all looking at y'all clocks like it's crazy, y'all getting started late or y'all late for something, you probably forgot that y'all lost an hour last night. And, we jumped ahead a whole hour.
Is it only in America we do that?
No, it's well, you know what? It might kind of be an only in America thing, but see, Greenwich is in England.
Yeah.
Where they do a lot of that time. I think it's in England. Isn't it in England, Greenwich?
I think so, yeah.
Where they do a lot of the time and stuff like that, but I don't know. We have time zones here. Possibly. But I just know people are in different time zones because where you at in different world, it's a different time altogether. So I don't know. That'll be interesting to kind of figure out if that's the case. But yeah, so that is what's up. Daylight saving. So hopefully y'all don't feel too salty. Go to bed a little earlier tonight, so Monday morning y'all will be feeling good. How about that? All right, I'll leave that alone. We're gonna go ahead and get into the gaming segment. Here we go. Gamer. Yeah. So y'all gotta go to LivehiphopDaily.tv if y'all want to hear this music. Man. I'm telling y'all, this it's off the chain, man. Gaming segment here on the GameFi podcast, where we talk everything gaming, art, music, esports, and film. We get into today, so gaming. I want to make sure we give shouts out to all of the game designers, all of my women, the female game designers, the black, brown, women of color who are doing some awesome things in game design. And one particular, this being Women's History Month, one in particular I want to make sure that I give a shout out to is none other than the co-founder of Pharaoh's Conclave, Dr. Jaquita Owensby Thomas. She was granted tenure at Auburn University and she teaches game design. And so she's been designing games, developing games, programming for years. She graduated from Spelman College here in Atlanta. She went on to get her PhD from Georgia Tech in computer science. And then she was at IBM, and then she went into academia at Spelman, then moved on to Auburn University. And, she's been working on very, very, very hard. So shouts out to Jaquita. Good job. Keep it up. And just her story alone, as a Black woman, in technology is huge. Is wonderful. And it's a story of overcoming, but it's a story of perseverance more than anything else. So we can talk about asset management, and this is something that she is really onto. So she does a lot, right? As most women do. They multitask very well, and they get things done. And so, she often says, her time is valuable, which it is. And a lot of people forget that, especially if you're a startup, if you're out there, grinding, trying to do your thing. Sometimes you don't think of your time being valuable, but it is. It's an asset, just like any other asset. So when we talk about assets, you talk about, I got my cell phone. I'm on IG Live right now. That's an asset. We got my laptop right here. It's a gamer laptop. I do design on here. I do a lot of my presentations on here, videos, editing, all kind of stuff on this laptop. It's an asset. I got my Rhodes here. Got all my sounds in it. It's an asset for me to be able to do what I need to do. And often, my time, again, is an asset, just like hers is. But who has access to a lot of this stuff? Not a lot of people. Right now, I'm sitting into one of the biggest assets that's probably not as known that people know. I'm sitting inside the Live Hip Hop Daily studios, where you come and do a podcast, come and do a show, come and do all kind of things in this loft studio downtown Atlanta. It's an asset that you have, right? And, sometimes we invite people just to be a part of, but oftentimes people will start to, take advantage of your assets. And so you have to manage your assets, the right way. There's a cost to having things. There's a cost to me having my cell phone. There's a cost to internet. There's a cost to, electricity. There's a cost to being in the studio, have my slot and edit and do all the things I'm doing. So by allowing people just to, utilize my assets at no cost to them is like me spending more for my assets. So you have to be very, very cognizant of what you have and what you're doing to make sure that you're making money. Not I'm saying that you got to charge everybody. This is a barter system. So a lot of times, a lot of people who come on to the show, I'm getting something in return. They're inviting me onto their podcast, or they are, inviting me to a workshop or paying me to come do a workshop for them. Like next week, I have a workshop with the teachers from Drew Charter School. They're interested in gaming and, esports. In the whole industry. And so they want their teachers to find out a little bit more about what's going on in the gaming industry, especially because in Georgia high school, esports is a varsity sport. And so, but it's also a $150 billion industry. And with that being said, how are we presenting that as an asset for our students to take part in? Atlanta is an asset because Atlanta is number 2 when it comes to esports, and probably getting closer to number 1 when it comes to gaming. So how do we utilize that asset for the uplift of our students and the uplift of our communities, right? So that's the thing that we have to work on, and that's one of the things that we do here at Pharaoh's Conclave as well. So shouts out again to Dr. Jaquita Owens-Thomas, who is 10-year faculty member at Auburn University. Also, quick shout outs to I got my T-shirt here, the YMCA, the Arthur, the Andrew Young YMCA, all right? He and Andrew and Walter Young. So, Andrew Young had a birthday, and on the back of this it says, one of the principles of nonviolence is that you leave your opponents whole and better off than you find them. Andrew Young. Cool walk that we had. We started at Centennial Park, and we moved from Centennial Park all the way to Cook Park. They just did over on Boone. It's a brand new park they just did over there. It's beautiful. And so they dedicated, there's a John Lewis statue there, but they also just now dedicated the Andrew Young statue. So it's real cool. So if you're in Atlanta and y'all want to, get a chance to see and experience a little bit of treasures of our past, and when it comes to civil rights, go down to Cook Park, and you'll get a chance to see a couple of stalwarts in the movement being celebrated there now forever, with their statues being in that park. And so that was pretty cool. But what was also cool was I was walking with a lot of people that I knew. Some I met here.
Kim said she saw you.
Yeah, I saw Kim and Coco.
Yeah.
It was cool. It was a lot of folks in the community, and I got a chance to meet the other folks at the YMCA. So they have it at Promise Center. All right, and so I was introduced to them by Will Oliver from Steam Sport, and we did game design with his guys, and we did some esports as well with some of his young men, and they got some scholarships and stuff that we were able to provide for them because they won our tournament, and it was a national tournament, and so it was pretty cool to see them rise to the occasion and take that over. But Atlanta is a very, very small place, and I think people figure that Atlanta's small, or because we have a saying, small world, small Atlanta. Mm-hmm. So I ran into a lot of my fraternity brothers. Shout out to Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. I ran into a lot of them, and they worked either fire rescue, they were policemen, they were in, council people, they were just in a number. And I had on my jacket so everybody knew who I was, so they came up and spoke. Also ran into a Beta Psi bruh. He's an undergraduate at Clark, Atlanta, and they're doing some cool things over there. They're getting ready for Omega Week over there. And it was cool, but again, to be out in the community, you meet all these people, and you never know who you're going to run into. So it's a two-edged sword. So you get to meet people and build your network, but then you don't want to be acting a fool out there in the streets either, because you never know who might see you. Yeah. And case in point, I was stretching, and lo and behold, my wife hits me up with a picture text to her from a friend of hers that said a friend of hers sent her a picture, and she noticed me in the background of the picture, and she said, "Ain't that your husband?" I was like, "Oh Lord."
Yeah, just hopefully good thing you weren't doing nothing crazy.
Hey, but it's cool though. I mean, but again, you never know. And that's how things happen. We living in this digital age, and you think you just out there minding your business. You're never minding your business. That you always on camera. You always might be in there, so you got to make sure you're doing what you're doing. And so it was cool to see that and to come full circle. So I got a picture of me stretching for a run now that I can keep on my phone and show other folks and everything. But what's up, everybody on IG Live? Thank y'all. Shouts out to Dante Carter and Carter Media. He does a lot of our PR and marketing, and he was like, "Hey, you got to get back out there. You got to post. You got to let everybody know what's going on." So, because people are looking for it. I got a lot of phone calls about, summer programming. So we are doing our summer programming. It is coming out. So you go to website. It'll be up if it's not already up at pcxnow.com. Again, pcxnow, like right now.com. You check our programming. We have 3 pathways that we do. Game design, of course. We're in the gaming segment. We also have comic book creation that I'll talk a little bit more about in the next segment. And then we have our esports pro gamer pathway that I'll talk about more on the esports side of things. But it's real cool. So with that, this is just touch the base. There was inclement weather warning, so I didn't have my guest in today, but it's all good. You know what I'm saying? We got Jay Black in the house, so we're gonna bounce some stuff off of Jay Black as well. What about you? We're gonna move over to this next segment, then I'm gonna ask you some questions about asset management. How about that?
We in the gaming?
Yeah, we're in the gaming. Which one?
I asked you before. So this week I do Crew 1.
Okay.
So we doing some setup for it's called fan control football.
Right.
So basically what we're doing, of course, we building the field and all that, but the fans actually call the plays for the people on the field. Like,
wait a minute.
So I was wondering if you heard about it.
I ain't never heard of that.
Yeah, I ain't really looked too much into it, but it seemed like a dope idea. It looked like a real football, though.
Control football.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what that makes me think of? I don't know. I might be a little too old for you, but the Jetsons, right? It was a cartoon. Mm-hmm. And there was an episode that they had these guys, they were playing football, and of course it was all robots playing football, and they were sitting up there, giving the plays, sending it down to the robots or whatever. But fan control football, I mean, that's what it sounds like to me.
It's really a video game. A real live video game.
But you don't get to control the players. You just get to control what they do.
What they do.
Right. So that's pretty interesting. Yeah. There are games that are built like that. Right, you get to choose. I think The Forest is the name of it. I'm not sure. I might be getting that wrong, but you get to choose your pathway. So like you go right or go left. It'll stop and allow you to say, hey, what do you want to do? And you choose which way you want to go. Of course, in the video game, you get to choose which way you want to go, but that's built in a little bit of a different way. In that, it's set up to give you a whole set of other things that are going to happen, possible outcomes. So you say, okay, am I going to pick up this pearl? Okay, once you pick up this pearl, this happens, right? Or if I'm going to leave this pearl alone, then you go over this way. And then maybe you find out down the road you're trying to get into a doorway and the pearl was the key. You know what I'm saying? So you can find some stuff out like that. But I'm interested. So when are they going to actually play the game?
I'm assuming this week because, we set up all week.
Okay.
So we actually lay the turf on Friday, so I'm assuming it might be like a Saturday thing.
Okay, yeah. Let me know. I'm gonna have to check that out. I'm gonna have to see, so we can talk about how Madden like it is. Speaking of Madden, I've been playing Madden pretty heavy, Madden 22 and 21, but definitely 22, because it's I'm online now and I'm starting to play, folks. I've been playing my students from Washington High School and my other students from at Morris Brown, and we just been playing back and forth, man. But it's some weirdos out there. You got to be careful out there online.
Glitching the game and stuff?
What you
talking about, like glitching the game?
No, not even glitching the game. No, I mean playing the game. They just be saying crazy stuff. Yeah, they be like saying all kind of weird stuff, man. I had to actually put my headphones in so my kids couldn't hear what some of the stuff that these dudes were saying, man. I was like, y'all crazy. And it's funny to me. But, to somebody else, it could be off-putting or whatever. Yeah. So, I try to make it my mission when they talking like that to beat them if I can. Sometimes it is what it is. It's Madden, you know what I'm saying? But most of the time, I did pretty good over the weekend playing and whatnot. But fan control football.
Yeah, I just looked it up. So that the players, it's been going on since 2017. The players are paid weekly minimum of $400 to $750 plus room and board, while coaches get paid $3,500 a month.
What?
With housing and meal plan.
What?
So it's an indoor football league. They got a salary.
What did y'all set up for it? In State Farm?
Setting up this upcoming week. It's at Pullman Park.
Oh, okay, Pullman Park. Yeah.
So is it a facility, an inside facility over there?
I think they put one up.
Yeah, so
I've seen it because it's over there by the old railway and right over there, like what, Candler? Is that where it is? Candler Park?
Okay, it might be over there. Yeah, I'm putting it in the GPS.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to see when the game.
Man, that's crazy. I want to see that. They getting paid. Yeah. Hey, check it out, man. Fan control football. You play football. Y'all want to coach or whatever. How do you coach fan control football? Because you don't get to call no plays.
Maybe it's the coach's playbook.
Maybe, and they practice all the plays and they pick. I guess. Okay. I can kind of see that one a little bit, but that's crazy. That's crazy. Fan control football. Hey, y'all check out that fan control football, man. It is. That sounds like it's fun. I'm gonna go check it out myself. Yeah. So let's go ahead and move over to this arts segment. Yeah. Here we go, y'all. Hey, y'all, how y'all doing? GameFi podcast. Gaming, art, animation, music, esports, film, television, production. We do it all. Digital entertainment. That's what this podcast is all about. Digital entertainment. The digital entertainment industry is a multi-billion dollar industry. And, Atlanta is popping. Digital entertainment, whatever y'all want to do, whatever y'all want to get into, you can find a way to be a part of it here in Atlanta. They call it the Hollywood of the South, but I'm just going to say it's Atlanta. We ain't like nobody else. We our own thing. We our own people. We our own community down here in Atlanta. And get into the art and anime segment of the GameFi podcast. I am Coach E. So, Jay Black.
Yep.
Comic book creation, another pathway that we do. I I've been talking to some students about it. I've had several students come through Morris Brown College to learn about our degree program, the esports degree program that we have going on at Morris Brown, to find out a lot of the cool information and the other programs we have at Morris Brown in general, and to see the look on their eyes when I tell them about gaming and comic book creation and how you can make money and these are careers that you can get into. They like, oh my goodness. And then the parents themselves, like, I didn't know. I did not know that my son or my daughter could do this. They are always doodling and drawing, or they coming up with these crazy stories since they was little. Doing all those doing those and actually being able to make money at that. So our comic book creation, again, www.p6now.com is where you can find out more information about it. My wife has given a task to my children, right? They are all going to, and it's like a project because she's at Georgia State as well. I'm putting her business out there. She don't want people to know that she's taking the degree up there. She says she can get in trouble. I don't know. But anywho, she's working on a project, right? And it is because she wants to learn more about digital technology. And so her project mates, they are going to take children's stories and have children to read them. And so when she said, well, my kids write stories and my kids read them, they were like, okay, so they're about to write some stories, right? Write some stories off the top of the dome, right? And then those stories, they're going to have them read them in the studio, and the project is being able to make sure that they produce it right. So it's cool. But my 13, 12, and 5-year-old are going to write a story, have it recorded audio on the audio feed, and we'll be able to actually put that out. And that's actually what we do in our program as well. So it doesn't stop just at, creating a comic book or creating a character, a story. There are so many other things you can do once you actually create that content. It goes from here to there. So I know you do. You have your shows and everything you do. So on your treatments, have you gotten to the point where you do storyboards?
Not like in the traditional sense, but I plan everything.
Okay.
Before I go to any shoot, like I visualize from the beginning to the end.
Right.
So I don't necessarily make a board with all these boxes and stuff, but I got a list of things, or I have a objective that I'm trying to accomplish or whatever. But I think the storyboards is more for like scripted, I want to say. I mean, I think they're used a lot more in scripted. So, and that's a route that I'm looking to go to. So I know once I get to that route, that side, I'm gonna probably be using them a lot more.
And the storyboards, like people that really like do storyboards, like for like movies and television shows, like they do like some real nice. I mean, you could actually watch it like that.
Yeah.
And you know what was cool? I was watching the Kanye West documentary.
I was just
right?
thinking that when he did the Wire video.
Through the Wire video. That's basically was a storyboard, right?
Yeah.
And so when they filmed it, they had the cells. It was a picture, pictures blacked out, whatever.
Yeah.
And so they could put the information in there. But as they go through the board, it told the story again through the wire, right? It told the story of the song. And that's what a song is. You telling a story. So it was cool to be able to put that visual together. And that was the key that made Dame Dash and them be like, yeah. Let's get behind this guy right here.
Yeah.
So, being able to put together a story and a storyboard and plan out what you're doing is a great visual representation for somebody to see what it is you're trying to do. So like if you're trying to plan out something, whatever, like you said, even before you shoot it or do it, if it's in a storyboard where you can give it to somebody and they can read it, two things. Either they can say, okay, I see it, I want to support you, or they see it and they can do it without you having to do it, right? So like I'm not the best artist in the world by far. That's what my son does, that he draws what I think. But I can put things in the storyboard, he can pick up on it, and he can just write out what needs to happen. Or I'll put my planning out. It's just an outline at the end of the day, but it's a pictorial reference.
Yeah,
and so
exactly.
In game design, we call that like almost like a physical prototype. Of course, you can make like a game board or whatever, but you can make almost like a flip book. Like if you're doing a app, for instance, you draw what the phone looks like, the square and everything. And inside of the square, you say, okay, that's what that screen is going to look like. This is the next screen. This is the next screen. This is the next screen. And you give that to somebody, and they go through it to look at to see, okay, I can follow it. So it's basically playing the game as an app without playing the game, right? And so you can do that in a storyboard. So, but again, that's two different uses of the same type of asset. So we're talking about asset management, asset awareness, right? You have these assets that you can put out there. So storyboards is an asset that can be used in the planning of anything, y'all. If y'all want to plan anything, put yourself together a storyboard, and that's a little bit more than an outline, because what a storyboard does, it just gives you a little bit more meat to it. Not that you can't write on a storyboard and you can say, okay, this happens or this happens, but it's only meant to have like a couple of words, a couple of directional types of things. It's not meant to be a story to read, but it just gives you a pictorial representation of what it is you're thinking. So that's the fundamentals of, you know, comic book creation or animation. You know, you go back to that planning, that storyboards, but of course you do the development that goes right along with that. So you develop your idea or your character, or your story, your world, you know, whatever. You develop it, you get it out there, and then you can put it together, and then you come up with a nice little storyline, and you do an origin story or things of that nature. So that's a couple different things that you can do. What's up, everybody out there on the IG? But, you know, again, assets management. When you're talking about comic books or anything, music as well. Storyboards. I mean, they use storyboards when they're doing videos. Yeah. I mean, that's an easy way to say, okay, this is what we're gonna do, and it also saves you money at the end of the day. Exactly. So you got anything on this one? We're gonna move on over to the music segment.
That was it.
That's it, y'all.
All about planning.
Yeah. Hey, GameFi Podcast, everybody. Thank y'all for joining me on IG. GameFi Podcast, we talk everything gaming, art, music, esports, and film. I'm Coach E, Crane Violet, the Minister, DJ Scratch and Sniff, MC such and such. All that good stuff, man. Good to see y'all. Thank y'all for joining us here on in season 3. Where we're live on LivehiphopDaily.tv. Please follow us. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on social media. Everything GameFi Podcast. GameFi Podcast. We're doing our thing here in Atlanta, Georgia, Live Hip Hop Daily Studios. We're now moving over to the music segment. That's why we got this cool music right here. You know, drop them bars on it. We're going to have a bars challenge. I'm going to send this out and see if we can't get somebody to go ahead and spit and get us a winner. Give us a little bit of some verses behind this beat right here as we get ready to change over, because I think season 3 is going to be the last season for this beat right here. Come season 4, you know, talk to Ruben, man. We're going to have us a beat pack, so we're going to do some different stuff. It's going to be cool, and I think that's going to be something that we do as well. We'll let people send us in, you know, just you'll be the music for the segment. And get them a shot like that and break some folks, because there's a lot of young people. There's a lot of older people out there that do. But you know what? Speaking of older folks, I've been watching these reels on Instagram where it's like a producer, and it's like, say, producing for like somebody that's like 40, 41 or something, and he say something crazy. You know, he like saying like, this is what I'm gonna say, and this is what and they were like, come on, man, you gotta give me some more than that. And he said, okay, drop the beat, and he dropped the beat, and he like kills it. It's a crazy reel that we see on there, man. And so I thought that was kind of interesting. I was like, that's kind of dope. But that's one of the things that I know musically I got to work on there. So again, the music segment here on the GameFi Podcast. Have you ever thought about making music?
I mean, growing up, I used to rap. I used to do all that.
Did I know you used to rap growing up? Did we talk about this?
It ain't nothing that I talk about. I mean, I wasn't like I was terrible at it. It's just that I never wanted to take that. Like, I always thought about like making a hit song and having to sing that for the rest of my life. I'm like, man, I ain't trying to do that.
I mean, you know, and then to watch them folks get on the stage and have to sing.
I ain't feel like I wanted to take that career seriously.
Man, I was in college, and I don't know. We thought we was gonna do something. I don't know. We thought we was gonna do something. I made me a couple of verses. I don't really remember them all like that no more, but I remember I had my time when I thought I was gonna maybe try a little rapping. Yeah. But for real though, I was like, maybe, you know, not be more on the producer side. I was like, because I can't sing, right, and I really can't rap. But I know something sounds good if I hear it, right? I'm a musician, I'm a percussionist, so I got rhythm. You know what I'm saying? I can do something. I can do a little something. And I can dance, you know. That's what I was like, percussion, rhythm, dance, beats like that. I was like, okay, if I was gonna be in it, that's what I was gonna be in, that particular part. But it never rolled over. But shouts out to Casio Beats, my god brother, Rodney Reagan. He's doing his thing on the producer thing. Also, another one of my little cousins, Brandon Whitehead. I don't even know what his stage name is. I forgot what his DJ or his producer name is, but he's doing this thing. Look up Brandon Whitehead. I'm sure you'll be able to find him out there, but he's doing this thing. He had this shirt. He graduated from KSU. It was like swerving out of KSU, and he had a little song. He had a graduation party, and they played his music. I was like, okay, I guess so. Yeah, doing their thing. But I love music. I love all kinds of music, and to understand as well, music and gaming is a big thing, right? I'm playing, like I said, I was playing Madden, right? And it's a whole track. It's a whole soundtrack that you can listen to as you're getting ready to play. Every game, for the most part, has a soundtrack in it, different songs, different music, beats. But that also goes along with music that people don't really think about is the sound effects. Voiceover, thing like that. That studio I was telling you about, they had a section that was just kind of like where you can lay down voiceovers.
What is it called? ADR?
The studio?
No.
Oh,
that's what the voiceover, like when they.
Oh, right.
I think it's called ADR. I think I can't think of what it stands for.
But I don't know either. But it's a thing, man. I have a student at Wilson Academy, one of my students on my esports team. He does voices, and I told him, I said, okay, I'm gonna have to hook you up. I'm gonna connect him up with somebody he can make up voices. And my wife said this, if you are a comedian or you can make up voices, or you good at what do you call it? When you talk like people. Oh my gosh. Impersonation. Thank you. If you're a voice impersonator, you can sound like anybody. You can probably sing, and he can sing. So because you know how to use your voice in that way. Right. But I mean, that's a thing, man. The Proud Family is back out.
I was about to say I wouldn't mind doing a voiceover for a cartoon.
That's what I'm saying.
Or for like a game.
So you know what? So what we're gonna do, and we're gonna put it up on the site as well. And I'm gonna put it up on IG and on the social. We're gonna put a link to. There's a link. There are companies here in Atlanta where you can go to voiceover school, or you can do voiceovers, or if you're interested in being a voice actor, you can get into that. So I mean, that is a pathway as well that not a lot of people think about. And you really don't have to do a whole lot. Sometimes it's your regular voice, but then you can try to change your voice a little bit, and then you can try to talk a little something like that. I don't know. You read this story, you read the character, right? Depending on the role, you make your voice sound like, if it gotta be high pitched, whatever. And I'm just making sounds, but that's what it is, though. It really is that. And you get behind it. I was watching another thing on Instagram. I was watching Instagram and TikTok. I think that's what it was. It was TikTok. And it was a guy doing like 9 different voices. He like read a whole story and did all of the different voices of the people. And he like did them on command. Not like he was, like he was like really in it. He killed it. But you can do that as well. And you could be like a one person doing 5 different voices. That means you get paid 5 times. Right?
Yeah.
And that's a lot of actors and actresses that are well known that you didn't even know Regina they also King. Do stuff. Who? Regina King, because she did Boondocks. She does some other ones.
Jamie Foxx did The Soul.
Remember that Jamie Foxx did the movie Soul. My goodness. I'm looking at this person in my face right now, but I can't even think of their name. But we talking about Penny Proud, but what's that girl's name? Oh my goodness. Pratt.
Kyla Pratt.
Yep. She did that for a while.
Palmer on there
Kiki
too.
Palmer.
She on the new one.
And they are killing it. And guess what? And I watch, and so when they record it when they do it, so you can kind of see. Yeah. They are making the faces, they acting and saying it, but guess what? They ain't got to get dressed up. They ain't got to wear no makeup. They in the studio. Yeah. They chilling, and they just doing the voices, and they making it. So all of the animated movies that you see that have come out, all those people that made up, they just sitting there in the booth just like this with headphones on. They hear the playback and they say their part, and it is done. And that's a voice actor, and you can get paid. And it's no stress. It's almost like being a hand model. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Real model, you got to be whatever, but a hand model, your hands got to be right. Yep. You got to be able to hold the thing right, and you point to it and you look at it. But I don't know. I was in a car accident, so my hands got messed up. And I don't know, my fingers, they look funny, my fingertips. But, I look at that on commercials when they're, revealing, doing whatever. I'm looking at their hands and the way they have to hold things a particular way, like cell phones and whatnot. I'm like, okay, I see your hand model. Your gestures got it going on. But again, they get paid. They get paid pretty well. What was the name of that movie? Zoolander with your boy Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
Man, not Adam Sandler. What's his name? Oh, my God. It's not Adam Sandler.
I remember the movie.
Oh, my goodness. His dad was in it, too. Oh, my gosh. It's a comedian. Oh, my goodness. He has a Jewish name. Ben Stiller.
That's the face I was thinking.
Yeah, exactly. Ben Stiller.
That's exactly.
And then Owen Wilson was in it too. With the blonde hair.
Oh yeah. They both was in what? Meet the Parents? Was it Meet the Parents? Or
they was in
Wedding Crash something.
Wedding Crash. What two they was in? Wedding Crashers was your other comedian guy, the taller guy that talked real fast. It was him and Owen Wilson. I can't think of his name. It's on the tip of my tongue. But anyway, he was talking about the hand model in there, and it was like, and I think Owen Wilson's brother played that character. And if people don't know a lot, Owen Wilson's brother is the same guy. Oh my goodness, I can't think of his name, but of course it's something Wilson. But his brother has dark hair. Owen has blonde hair, and they talked about during the pandemic they stayed with each other. It was funny that they was talking about that. But people do all kind of stuff, and you can make. I mean, I'm gonna put my hand in there. I'm gonna see if I can get me a gig doing some voiceover. I think I can do it.
Voiceover work too.
I can make it. Shoot.
Yeah, I'll do some voiceover work.
And you can do it. You can do it wherever you are. You record it. You basically you get the lines, you record it, and you send them in. Right. So sometimes you don't even have to be in the studio. And of course, that's how they were doing it during the pandemic. But you record your voice and you send it in. It's just like radio personalities. It's doing their commercials, right? They record them. I saw Willie Moore Jr. He was in a car recording his drops and stuff and getting ready to send them in. And he was really? That's all you got to do? But not a lot of people know about that.
It's simple.
It's simple, man. A lot of people don't know about that. So y'all better get on it, man. Hey, use your voice as an asset. Asset management awareness, man. Your voice is an asset. Are you using it to make you some money? Are you using it just to pollute the world? Right. What y'all doing with y'all assets out there? All right, we're going to go ahead and move into the esports segment. All right, with my marching band coming down the road. We're going to get Morris Brown marching band back together. We're going to have them play this right here. Getting ready for some esports. Esports segment here on the GameFi podcast. We'll talk everything game, arts, music, esports, which is this segment, and film. Got the marching band coming out here doing that thing. We getting ready for some esports. Yeah. Cool. All right, thank y'all for joining me out there in the world on the IG. Again, it's your boy Coach E here at the GameFi podcast. We're in the esports segment. Esports news. Play Versus is the platform at which the Georgia high school students use to play their season. This is their second. This is the spring season, and they play a bunch of different games. They play Madden, they play Rocket League, they play Smash Brothers. I'm sure they play 2K, but I know they play. Those are the three main games that they play on there, and so we've been playing. Been going good. My guys from Morris Brown, they come to Morris Brown, watching the high school students. They play, they win in some, they lose some. But I tell you one thing though, these young kids like talk a lot of trash. They talk trash, man, and they all want to play me because they think they can beat me. Now, see, when I wasn't really playing, they would beat me pretty good. But now I've been practicing. So it's like, they were like, they come on talking trash and then they get serious. And when they serious?
They quiet.
It's silent. You don't hear nothing. And we just playing. We're going back and forth. It's so funny. And then they want to bet. Well, let's put something on it then. Coach E, put something on it. I was like, y'all ain't got nothing. Like, what you want to do? They pull out a little $20 out their pocket. I'm like, man, come on, son. Come on. Man, they so funny. But they're doing pretty good in that. My TSK students came by, and they're going to be forming their team. Got my Wilson Academy team. They're going to be doing their thing. We also are going to be doing some meet and greets with the Atlanta Hawks Talent GC. That's a cool group of folks. They just had their draft, so they should be starting playing soon. But that's the first professional esports team that ever came to Atlanta. Was the Talent GC, and that's on the NBA 2K side of things. So, just highlighting what they're doing on that side. So we're going to do that. And then we're going to be working on our minor league system and our pro team as well. And so that's coming. So be looking for us in April to drop that. So if y'all are interested in, professional gaming or being around professional gaming. So let me explain this. Because I had to explain this to some parents. They were like, is it just playing video games and being a programmer? I was like, no, it's so much more than that. So, of course, you have the player, right? That's kind of the focal point. That's the thing that everybody sees. That's what everybody does to work to get the player to be able to play the game, right? But what also has to happen is you have to have a team manager, a coach, an organizer, right, to pull together the team so they know what they're playing. And so when you're doing tournaments, you got to organize those as well. We're about to have March Madness. Brackets, right? That's all a tournament is really brackets. And so it's just managing that for Smash Brothers or League of Legends or, a bunch of those different games like that you can do as well. So learning how to do that, right? And so you're not always going to have even brackets either. So you got to understand how to do that. So you've got 7 players. Somebody's going to get a bye. How does that work to keep it as fair as possible? And then, with video games, there's this thing called loser bracket, right? So the folks that lose, they end up populating a whole nother bracket so that once everybody loses, you got the person who made it all the way in, and they just wait until everybody goes through the loser bracket to get back into the game to be playing, because it's usually with a double elimination, you have a loser bracket. So you have to understand brackets and be able to put those together, score reporting, and which is interesting. So with the high school teams that are playing, you got a screenshot, when the game is over to show proof that really was a score. And then you put it into the platform and you report the score so they know who won and who lost based on that particular game. So it's pretty interesting just to kind of see how all of that works. But all of that is a job, right? So like on a major tournament, you'll see people walking behind the players. They're monitoring, making sure everything is going right, make sure there ain't nobody cheating. I mean, there's not a whole bunch of ways you could cheat necessarily, but you got to have those monitors. And then when the game is over, when there's a score or a kill, they're there to verify that particular thing happened. So you have the tournament organizers on that side. So, and they're called TOs. And then we're streaming esports. Like I'm streaming this podcast right now. Like I'm streaming on IG and I'm streaming on LivehiphopDaily.tv. Same thing happens with video games. So I could be up here playing a video game against somebody else, and you're seeing us play and you're seeing what's happening. That's streaming, right? You have that production that goes on. That's a whole job in and of itself. And then you have camera people that go around, just like if you were watching a football game and you're getting a close-up on the quarterback and this, that, and the other. That happens as well in esports. It's a little different. They have their stations, and they usually have a stationary camera, kind of like what we have here in the studio, and it's pointed. And so then they just take their switcher and they switch from camera to camera. So same thing. You got to have somebody on the switcher, on the board, right? For the audio, for the video feed, to split the feed or whatever they need to do, you have that going on as well, which is another job that happens inside of esports. And so in the program that we have, the Programmer Pathway, we highlight a lot of those different areas, right? But then there are non-gaming parts, or I should say careers. There are repetitive injuries that happen in hands. And so one of the things I do with the students that I work with, we do a lot of hand exercises. We do individual finger exercises just to make sure the fingers are working. And you also give them a good stretching the wrists back and forth, side to side, elbows and everything, stretching your back because you're sitting down a long time. But occupational therapy comes into play. Right? You can have trainers. And I was talking to a group of young ladies that are trainers at Washington High School. I'm inviting them out to talk with the trainers for the 2K team, the Talons, right? So they can find out about, what's all involved in that. So the same things you've been doing for football, baseball, basketball team at your high school, that is, if you're interested in staying in that field, you can go get your degree in OT, occupational therapy, and you can go work for a sports team or an esports team. They need all of that stuff, so we do that. Mindfulness, meditation, fitness coaches, chefs. There's a pro esports teams. They actually have chefs that make their meals. All right, so they can eat properly while they're doing it. Of course, when we first started with video games, they was eating whatever they wanted to. But because they want to have longevity in their careers, they had to eat properly, eat the right way. So they wanted to make sure they were doing that as well. But, esports is chock full of all kind of things. So you can always visit me over at Morris Brown College at the Ronald Floyd Thomas Center for Esports and Innovation. That is our center on the campus where those students come in and they play and they compete, but they also find out about the industry. But we're not just playing in there. We got our 3D printer in there. We're going to start working on some controllers. Right, there's different types of controllers that you can actually make, and so making controller pieces. So we're going to start doing that as well. But I mean, the hardware and the software behind the games, that's a part of esports as well. There are Control Freak and Scuff Gaming, two companies that are here in Atlanta. Scuff Gaming does more of the customizing your controller. They'll customize it for you. Not just with colors and everything, but they'll, move around the buttons and the toggles so to make it easier, more ergonomic for your hands to be able to control. But then you have people like Control Freak, they make the toggles differently. So, and they give you like a split-second reaction time. And in the world of esports, a split second is a lot. When you talk about frames and hitboxes when you're in a fighter game or even League of Legends, to be able to react to something, you have to, even in Madden and 2K, being able to react. And the only thing, because, sometimes your thumb gets cramped up using the regular toggles on your PlayStation or whatever, but they make them so that it's a lot easier to control. And, that could be the difference between a win or a loss in a tournament. Just being able to control and your finger not slipping off of the controller while you're trying to use it. But, I mean, these are all things that exist in esports. And so, when you delve into the industry and you actually pick apart all of the different parts and pieces, that's what you have over there. So, I'm knocking my water down. Another live thing that happens when you live, you can't edit it out. But I think we're ready to move on. So, but go back to asset management awareness. When you're playing video games, your console is an asset. Your controllers are assets, right? And having your hands are an asset. So you have to do that to make sure that you keep everything working properly. And a lot of people know when you play video games and it seems like your controller just goes in the direction that you don't want to go to. They call it drift. It happens a lot because you might have dropped your controller. Right, it's off a little bit. So being able to understand how to do maintenance on your controllers to get it back right where it needs to be without having to buy a whole new controller is something that you need to do because it's an asset. And that knowledge to be able to understand it is an asset as well, to be able to coach somebody through how to fix their controllers if they need to fix their controllers and different things like that. So again, you want to be able to manage your assets. So you want to keep your controllers clean. You want to keep your cords. They're usually wireless, but, they might need to charge. So you want to have a charging cord. You don't want to have no little short mini charging cord and you ain't going to be able to move. You got to have one that's long enough and durable so you can do what you need to do. Because in the middle of a game, you got to charge up your controller. You don't want to be, you want to have the freedom of movement that you need to have. So those are different assets that you can have as well. In there, Dr. Chris, what's going on? But managing those assets, so in cleaning your machine, making sure that your machine works properly, especially when you're playing online, internet. Internet is one of the biggest assets that you can have when it comes to esports and gaming. If you don't have proper internet, you're going to have lag, you're going to have delay, and again, that split second can cost you the game, especially when it comes to what they're doing right now with the varsity esports that's going on in the schools right now. They're playing the best out of three when it comes to Madden, and you might have at least one disconnection that happens. And when it disconnects, that's a forfeit. So you lose a game. You might be winning the game, but if your system is the one that disconnects, then you get the loss. You have to forfeit. And so, again, if you don't have the proper internet, that asset, then, you lose, and you could be winning. And so that's why I tell my students, even if you lose one game, you never know what could happen. You may end up winning the game. It's a technicality. It's just like a foot fault in tennis. It is what it is. It's a rule. You know, you got to have that. So that's that's the biggest asset that you need to make sure that you have in esports. You got to have that connection. If you ain't got that connection, then you're going to have a hard time. You're going to have a hard time. And with that, we're going to go ahead and move into the film segment here on the GameFi podcast, where we talk everything gaming, art, music, esports, and film. We are now in the film segment. I am your coach, E. E for enthusiastic. DJ Scratch and Sniff, MC Such and Such, Crane Violet in the house. Moving on into the film segment. We touched a little bit on the films, a little bit. We talked about acting and things of that nature, you know, voice acting, but, you know, getting into the film industry is a huge thing. And it's a lot easier than people know. Sometimes it's just answering an email, you know, sending in a headshot, and sharing it with the proper people, like Casting Call, I think is the name of one of the organizations here. I listen to 929 The Game. Greg Carlson on there talks about all the different opportunities that exist.
Shoot, Georgia.org.
Georgia.org.
I think they go on there. They got a whole bunch of opportunities. They
got it all there, man. You can look at Georgia Economic Development and digital entertainment, and under that, it tells you all of the opportunities there are for film as well. There are a lot of locations. And one thing, asset management. Like where we are, Live Hip Hop Daily Studio, and this maybe Ace need to think about this. Y'all need to have this registered as a film destination.
They be filming all, like, I walked outside one day, literally next door. Dang, what's the guy name? He was in the Temptations.
Otis, not Otis, the other dude.
He a singer too. Dang, what's dude name?
That guy.
No, not the Temptations. Not my bad. The new edition when they did on BET.
Oh, right. The little guy,
Johnny.
I can't think of that dude's name. I think I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, but yeah, they be filming just
all the time.
They film over here all the time.
So listen, Asset Management Awareness Month, March. You can listen, people. If you have a fairly clean house, and it probably doesn't even have to be a clean house. If it's in a great location, if it's spacious, register your property as a film destination, and it's real easy to do, and they will pay you. I mean, we are registered. Morris Brown College is registered as a film destination, and they'll come and film all kind of stuff over there. And they've done that in the past. I mean, this year they also filmed, you know, in our lab, in our center, in the Ronald Ford Thomas Esports Center of Innovation. They came. They filmed. They completely turned it into a studio, a music studio.
They cut a check to rent it out.
They cut a check to rent it out, and they scratched up the walls and everything. So guess what they had to do? They had to pay to get the walls put back the way it needed to be. But I mean, you know, they came in, they shut us down for like a week or whatever, and they paid by the day. They paid by the day. You know, and it was cool to talk to the people behind the scenes about how they got into it. So of course, if you ever get an opportunity, and then this is gonna be my final nugget on this one. If you get an opportunity to go to somewhere where something's being filmed, just stand in the background and see all the different things that are going on, and see all the different people that are a part of that, because all of those different people are getting paid, number one, but these are not high stress jobs for real.
I was talking to my grandpa actually. This was recently around like the holidays. And he's a truck driver, but he's retired now. So he still pick up. But he was saying, like, he was on a film set, and they was paying him like $250 a day. He was just sitting there.
That ain't nothing. I got a cousin. Shout out to Said, man. I got a cousin. He is a trailer driver. And moving around, and really what he moves around are not necessarily like the 18-wheeler trailers. He's moving around some of the smaller trailers that, you know, like the box trucks or whatever. Yeah. He's moving that stuff around, and they paying that dude like $4,000 a day.
That's crazy.
$4,000 a day.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess $250 an hour makes sense.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, what's that, 8 hours? That's $4,000, ain't it? I think. I don't know.
He was just like, it was just so easy, because he said it was literally like, I guess it was like a tanker. It was something that they couldn't move by themselves.
Right.
They needed the truck. So he basically was just like from here to here.
Literally,
he wasn't even like going a mile.
3 feet, 3 feet, 2 feet, 4 feet, something crazy. They are moving.
He say in between, he just sitting there.
That's it. But he getting paid, and so you got to have a CDL license, asset management, certifications, licenses. Listen, if you can pick up something extra, I was talking to a student, one young lady. She said she wanted to be a cosmetologist, right? She want to have her own studio, a hair salon one day. And I was telling her, I was like, listen. And she was asking, does Morris Brown have that program? I said, no, Morris Brown does not have that program. But what we do have is an entrepreneurship degree program, and you can get your license to do hair, your cosmetology license in the summertime. You can get that after hours. And so you can have by the time you graduate, you'll have your certificate, you have a entrepreneurship degree, and you'll have your license to be you'll be a licensed hairdresser, right? Go start your own salon. If you want to, go rent a booth. And plus you can get that before you even finish your degree. You can get a cosmetology license in like a year. Right. I think you can get it in like 10 months or something like that. And then like you can
1,800 hours or something like that.
Yeah, and then you got to do your what do they call those? You know, you got to do your training hours, not training hours, but your God dog. I'm so tongue-tied today. I don't know why I'm so tongue-tied today. I'm just thinking fast. But you got to do your hours, training hours, simulated hours, but it's not. I'm thinking of what pilots have to do, training hours, but it's not training. You doing it for real. You actually doing it. You getting paid for it, but you got to have so many hours before I guess you get a certain level of license or whatever it is, right? You might have to do that, but you can do all of that. A CDL license, you definitely can get a CDL license in less than 6 months.
A lot of people going that route though.
You can do that.
But they say that test ain't as easy as people think. A lot of people fail that test. I knew a few people that went to get their CDL and they had to take the test a couple times, but you just got to put that work in. Like it's gonna be easy.
If you get it, you get in there, man. He can't. I'm telling you, man. I mean, now it's long hours now. Yeah. Like he literally out there 12-hour shifts, maybe 14-hour shifts. It ain't like he's doing stuff all those hours. But it's your time. It's your time. It's your time. But you getting paid for that time. Yeah. And it's not high stress. And you gonna get fed because they got the craft truck. The craft truck is there. They gonna take care of you. You eat. You know what I'm saying? You get out. You can actually walk around. Do some exercises. You can see what's going on, see the actors and actresses, and you got your credentials, so you back there while they doing it.
Another route, I was talking to this one. I was on, I wasn't necessarily set, but we was doing production, and he was telling me because he did BMF. It was a white guy. He did BMF. He was doing a lot of the different shows here in Atlanta, but he was saying that now with COVID. He said, man, people that they didn't came in as the people, the COVID administrators.
Yeah, you got COVID. Oh, yeah.
And they paying good. But he was like, he just seen people work at that table, like just as COVID administrators. Just take your information to being on set. Like they didn't work they move on set because you there with them people, so you just talk to them.
That's what you do, exactly. I'm so glad you brought that up. So, again, asset management. Yeah. You are an asset. Your availability is an asset. Yeah. And so by you being on the set doing one of those jobs, they don't really post those jobs out there. What happens is you just in the place to be, and they be like, hey, you get to talking to somebody, or they be like, hey, we need somebody to do this. And you be like, you know what, I'll do it. I'll step in, and you do it. And next thing you know, your name gets put down, and then you get put in the rotation, and now you got a whole nother career. It was somebody, dude told me, he was like, I don't know, he been in the movie industry for about, I guess, going on 20 years or so. He said it came about from a Facebook post from a cousin or a friend or somebody. They said they need somebody just to sit on set after hours, just be there, because they needed somebody just to be there. And from that, he's progressed to other different positions, quiet on the set, they get to say stuff. I mean, right. Do all kind of different things. You work your way up and you do things. I heard a lot of
stories like that. Like my homegirl, the Tupac movie, she went there as an extra, and she worked her way to a role.
That's it.
Like the role, like she was. I don't know if you remember, but it was a scene where I forgot where he was at, but he came out for a concert, and it was a girl that basically like shot the whole. It was a little special effect, but she was shooting the thing on stage. Yeah, she worked her way up.
Yeah,
she was telling me, she was like, "Yeah, I went on as an extra." And she pretty, so they were like, yeah, they looked at me, they put me over here, then they moved me up over here.
Yeah. Again, you are an asset. So just long story short, thank y'all for being here, joining me on this episode of the GameFi podcast. We talk everything game, arts, music, esports, and film. And we talked about Women's History Month for March, but also Asset Management Awareness Month. And one of the biggest assets that you have is you. You are your own asset, and whatever it is you're trying to do, you are an asset. So make sure that you're educating yourself. Make sure you are keeping up with your health. Make sure you are making yourself available. Make sure that you're putting yourself out there. Social media, your resume is ready to go. If you still have paper cards or if you have a digital phone card or something like that, whatever it is, that is an asset for you to have. You are an asset. So put yourself in a position to be successful. I think that's what we're saying at the end of the day. If you put yourself in a position to be successful, you'll be good to go. Learn all you can. Keep your eyes and your ears open because you never know when that opportunity is going to come up. So appreciate y'all out on IG. We about to go ahead and close this thing on out. So here we go. Call them boys up in here. Got the sirens in the house. I am Coach E. We got Jay Black on the ones and twos. We here at the Live Hip Hop Daily Studios. Hope you guys checked us out at LivehiphopDaily.tv. Check us out on GameFi Podcast, everything GameFi, GameFi Podcast, everything. I'm Coach E. We're doing our thing here in Atlanta, man. We want y'all to come and join us, man. We got a lot of folks that's not from Atlanta that's been coming back to Atlanta, and when they come down here to shoot, they were like, you know what, I think I might want to stay in Atlanta. I'll tell you, Atlanta's where it is. It's where you want to be. It's beautiful. The weather's getting better out there. We had a cold snap in there, but now it's warming up again. So, when it get hot, when it started warming, get hot in Atlanta, boy, the show begins. The show begins. If y'all don't know what I'm talking about, y'all need to come to Atlanta and spend some spring and summertime out here in Atlanta. But practice what you preach what you practice. You also can follow me on Practice with Coach E on IG as well. But we'll see y'all soon. GameFi Podcast.